Hey there, hope everyone's doing well. I am out on the trails with Summer today, just only one, so just her and I out here today. And we want to make a video about concerns family have about you hiking the Appalachian Trail. As you all know, I hiked the Appalachian Trail in 2018 and had a life-changing journey. It was fantastic. I had never done anything that grand in my life, so I wanted to share a few things I experienced with family and their concerns about me hiking the trail when I did it back in 2018. I had a lot of people say, don't do it. Don't do it. It's not safe. It's not safe for a female to be out there by herself on that trail. And you know, as long as you're careful and you listen to your instincts and you take a look at your surroundings, then it can be a very successful journey. It's you know, you're taking risk no matter where you go. You could get into a car accident at any time, and places you go is not always 100% safe, but the trail is relatively very safe. So a few concerns that might run through their mind or they might ask you about is safety for you being by yourself. Depending on when you start, you will not be by yourself. I started early in February in 2018, so I was very much by myself a lot, and I hiked most of the day alone, and that's what I preferred. But a lot of people out there ended up getting trail families, which they call tramilies, and they kind of stuck with the group throughout their whole journey, and that was pretty cool. I met some awesome tramilies out there, so that's an option for you to do, especially the later you start. If you start in March, in April, a lot of other people will be starting around that time as well, so you can, it's a lot more crowded. So you definitely won't completely be alone. So another thing you need to consider is there are a lot of resources along the Appalachian Trail. The most resources out there for any long distance trail that I'm aware of, more than the PCT, more than the CDT, more than the Florida Trail. So you have a lot at your disposal. If you can get the Gut-Hook app, then that will explain a lot of things you've got coming up throughout the trail. Towns, hostels, places to resupply, shuttle information, places to stay. Anything that you would need to know is going to be in either the AWOL guide or the Gut-Hook app. So definitely get that. And yeah, I was kind of concerned about that when I started. I wasn't aware of how everything worked completely with resupplying and everything, but you do have a lot of resources out there. So be sure you get a good guide, and you'll be fine. Another thing you can do to ease their mind is get a GPS tracking device that they can follow your journey, and you'll be able to text them when you need to. When I went in 2018, I carried a Garmin InReach, and that was fantastic. It worked every time. So you're able to, if you purchase that device and sign up for a subscription, then you can you have access to texting whoever you want to while you're out there on the trail. It works by satellite, so it worked every single time for me. The only thing to keep in mind that if you're in really bad weather, like a rainstorm or a snowstorm, it's going to just take a little bit extra time to send and receive messages, like up to 20 minutes. But it will work, and the family can have peace of mind. You can have peace of mind. There's also a device called Spot device, and a lot of people out there were using that as well. So those are two options where your family members can kind of keep track of you and make sure that you're okay. It's also good to have something like that in case you run into a problem, like if you slipped and fell, became injured, you can reach help. And so that's a good thing, good peace of mind to have, for sure. But being out there on the trail, especially later into the season, there's so many people out there. It's a ton of people, and I really didn't have any safety problems except for one time when I was at a shelter and there was a guy there that was making me uncomfortable. So I ended up getting up early that morning and hiking out, and I didn't have a problem. For safety, I did carry mace and a taser. So I didn't have to use them, but I did have them just in case. As far as anything else, I really didn't have any other problem. I did a lot of stealth camping, and I did have a lot of, I would hear animals outside my tent, so sometimes I would do a little zap of the taser, and they would just go away. I never had any problems at all with animals out on the trail, and really preferred to be out there alone. And I did a lot of stealth camping because I just loved it. But don't be too overly concerned with bears and such. Just, store your food safely and securely, and have common sense out there, and you'll be just fine. I will say that the hiking community is really great. So in 2018, there was an instance where there was another thru hiker that had sexually assaulted another hiker. She was hiking with him and had stayed with him for a long period of time. So it was, it was unfortunate, but as soon as that happened, then the whole hiking community really raised up and started protecting, especially the women. The information spread like wildfire. If anything does happen, or people do give you the creeps, or someone's being an obnoxious hiker, or a rude hiker, or just inappropriate, then say something to let other hikers know. Fill out a report, an incident report with the police, so they can track that. And the hiking community really comes together to protect everyone, especially the women. I felt so safe out there, and I felt confident that if anything was to happen, that I would be well aware of it as soon as possible. So just keep that in mind. Things can and do happen out on the trail, but you need to be smart about it. Try not to, stealth camp or stay in shelters that are close to roads or known to be rowdy places for locals to go and stay the night. So if you're aware of that, and you can find out that kind of information on the Gut Hook app, because a lot of people will make comments on all the shelters. They'll tell you about the water sources and the conditions of each shelter, but they will also give you a heads up if there's any bears around that are being a nuisance. They'll also talk about any locals, or they'll list anything that people need to know on that app, so you could be aware of it. So it's not like you're doing this whole trail completely blind and clueless. You do have a lot of resources. You do have a lot of people out there. You can hike with others if that is what you prefer and you feel safe doing it that way. That's cool. A lot of people hike with families. A lot of people hike solo. I hiked solo the whole way, and it worked out just fine for me. I preferred it. So you've got options. And another thing I forgot to mention is cell service. If you have the Verizon plan, that is the cell service that worked the best out on the Appalachian Trail. I had Metro PCS, and that did not have very good service. It was very spotty. But the people that did have Verizon were able to stay in contact with their families a lot easier. So keep that in mind. If you do want to be able to contact them, not through your Garmin, but through a phone, and actually have conversations, the best cell service to have would be Verizon. And it's great. It's very safe out there, in my opinion. You're going to run into issues anywhere you go in your life, so don't let fear take over and prevent you from having a truly life-changing experience. It is incredible out there. It will undoubtedly change your life. So take that step. Don't be afraid. Be as prepared as you can. Stay in touch with your family and go out there and have an amazing time. I'll be out there again doing a thru hike in 2021 with my dog Summer, and we cannot wait to get started. We'll be starting in February, so we are gearing up to get ready to do that. So hope everyone has a great day, and happy hiking.